Although I had of course heard of persimmons before, I don't think I could have picked one out of a lineup of other fruits that are less commonly found in the United States until about a month ago. One day at the Field and Fork farm on campus where I work, a colleague presented me and another coworker with a pair of persimmons he'd harvested from the International Forest Garden. We didn't have plates or spoons, so we simply sliced the persimmons into quarters with a pocket knife and scraped the ripe pudding-like flesh away from the skins with our teeth. I couldn't believe how sweet they were. They almost tasted as though someone had baked warming spices into them right before they were plucked from the tree. Amazed by the flavor, I began to wonder why persimmons aren't more popular here and what the history behind them is. As it would turn out, the oldest known persimmon stalks are native to Japan, but Spain has been the #1 exporter worldwide for more than a decade. However, in recent years, the persimmon market in China has exploded, with nearly 85% growth over the last 3 years. Now, China is a competitive rival to Spain and shares just 4% less of the global market at 30%. This expansion in production has stimulated a lot of growth in local economies in addition to China's persimmon market as a whole, which was worth $206 million in 2020. That same year, the booming persimmon industry was credited with helping to raise more than 2,400 households above the poverty line in China's northwestern province of Shanxi. While the majority of China's persimmon exports are fresh, raw fruit, some 20 to 30% of exports are a chewy, dried version that is prepared by skinning the persimmon and hanging it to dry over several weeks until the natural sugars form a white crystalline coating all over the fruit. I now want to discuss China's persimmon production itself, or in other words, how they're grown. Persimmon trees are easygoing plants in general. They have an almost conical branching pattern that allows trees to be planted closely together without sacrificing yield, and they tolerate a variety of soil conditions, including short periods of drought and relatively low fertility. Asian persimmons also boast a naturally high resistance to most biotic diseases, and any imperfections on the fruit are usually the consequence of sunburn or improper storage. However, persimmons do need to be grown within what the USDA would classify as hardiness zones 8 and 10. This perhaps gives us some insight as to why Spain is able to produce such massive quantities of the non-native fruit, while China is much larger in terms of total land area. Only a small portion of that area meets the temperature requirements of the persimmon. By comparison, nearly all of Spain exists between Zone 7 and 9B. In any case, persimmon trees seem to be a worthy investment since they remain highly productive well beyond 40 years of age, and some studies show good yields in trees of 100 years or more. And while some trees may not bear fruit for the first 7 to 10 years, this time can be, and usually is, shortened to just 2 or 3 years by grafting. Overall, persimmon production in China is a well-loved and increasingly lucrative endeavor. As its demand grows in Russia, Australia, and all across Europe, it's hard to believe the joys of the fruit aren't as highly celebrated here as they are in the rest of the world. With any luck, though, persimmons will soon be popping up more frequently in both Floridian grocery stores and backyards.